does St. Nick get all the credit?
Moms do all the work.
Mom?
Mom?
My girlfriend is a vegan. We're eating sirloin.
The annual Holiday Mom Contest is upon us.
The kids haven't mentioned the Zazzy contest, have they? Your kids have to submit you.
Did you tell them to submit you?
I definitely did.
Okay, kids, did anyone find the elf on the shelf?
I know what you're thinking, and I agree. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 definitely looks very different than you saw from the trailers of it. But no, as you could tell, this is not Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Although, to be perfectly honest, once I'm done with this review, you'll probably look at this movie and go like, no, this actually might be much scarier than Five Nights at Freddy's 2. But welcome to Talking About the Movies, everybody. As you can kind of tell, I didn't see Five Nights at Freddy's 2 this weekend. I was going to, but because of Steel City Con, the fact we've been very busy this weekend, I haven't really had a whole lot of time to go around and walking around and getting video footage for you. But hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to do that. But today was very busy, and it kind of makes sense. It's cold out. Nobody's really going outside to do anything. There's holiday shopping, of course, but, you know, a weekend like this where the temperatures are very low, snow is on the ground, makes people want to come into the convention center and see the Comic-Con itself. So, yeah, that's why I haven't been able to get out to go see Five Nights at Freddy's 2 like I did a couple of times before with earlier in the year with the Minecraft movie and all that. But it's also the first movie weekend of December, as we're coming to the end of the season already. Not just the season, the end of the year. And yeah, we only have 4 weeks worth of movies to look at in 2025. And then I get to do my favorite thing of the year, my best and worst of the year list. And let me tell you, this movie here will definitely be on one of those lists. And spoiler alert, it's not the one you're thinking of. Because even though I didn't go see Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in theaters, why go to the theaters when I could just go onto my computer, pop on Amazon, and see what kind of new stuff they have out there? Because there was a new holiday movie that came out this week. And let me just say that MGM, you are not on a good track right now with these holiday movies. Because last year you gave us Red 1, which was absolutely horrible. This one is even worse. That's what we're going to be talking about today. The movie that is called Oh, What Fun! Or as I'll be talking about it as you watch along here, Oh, Fuck Off. So the premise of Oh, What Fun! Is Michelle Pfeiffer is a mother who is bringing the family all together for the holiday season. She's planning this very special Christmas, but is forgotten by her family. And when they realize that she is missing, their holiday is at risk until she returns to give them the celebration they deserve. That's what the summary on IMDb says, but let me tell you what this movie really is about. Michelle Pfeiffer's family treats her like an asshole during the holidays, so she basically just says, fuck this shit, I'm out. I'm going to go on this lame-ass talk show hosted by Ava Longoria with one of the worst names ever, Zazie Timms. And, you know, somehow the family is going to realize that they're nothing without her there, and apparently there's going to be a lesson to be told. I just gave you the entire fucking movie, because that's exactly what this piece of garbage is. This is, without a doubt, one of the worst Christmas movies I have ever seen in my life. Now, when you watch the trailer for this, it really doesn't it doesn't feel like it should be that bad, and especially with the cast they have in here. I mean, you see it in the trailer. You got Michelle Pfeiffer leading this off, but you also have Felicity Jones from Rogue One, Chloe Grace Moretz, Dennis Leary, Dominic Sessa, Danielle Brooks, Jason Schwartzman, Ava Longoria, Joan Chen, Devery Jacobs from Reservation Dogs, Maude Apatow, you know, all these names in here, and it's directed by Michael Showalter, who was on The State. You know, he did stuff for Reno 911. And when it comes to directing movies, he has definitely made more less than spectacular films than good films. I think the best thing he's ever directed was The Big Sick, and that really was his best overall film, because holy mother of God, this movie is a movie that is so terrible. There's no... the biggest problem with this movie right from the get-go is that the premise and the whole identity of the movie is just a film that's literally taken from a Hallmark not even Hallmark Hall of Fame, because Hallmark Hall of Fame are the Hallmark movies that they actually are good, where they're actually good and aren't just the same regurgitated garbage over again. This is like a Hallmark movie, Lifetime Channel movie, made by a major studio, and yeah, it's only made by a major studio because they got all these stars involved in it, and because MGM put the money up to it. But no, this movie is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. And it's funny I said that because, you know, not even earlier this year, but just last week, Family Guy dropped a Hulu episode that was basically a parody of a Hallmark and Lifetime channel movie. And when I say parody, I mean a movie is. We're gonna make some quick jabs at it. We're gonna point out all the flaws of a Hallmark and Lifetime channel movie, but we're not even gonna bother to, actually be funny with it, because we don't want to offend the people who like those Hallmark and Lifetime channel movies, because that's literally what that was. It was definitely an episode of Family Guy where it's just like, this is really not your best stuff, Family Guy. And Family Guy is definitely a mixed bag of a show, but when they do stuff like that, it's just kind of like, you gotta be freaking kidding me, man. Like, it's not even funny what they did with that. And yeah, this is pretty bad. And it's bad because it has no reason to be this bland and forgettable, and have all these stars involved in it, and have a major director behind it, and have a major studio behind it. Like, this thing is such a bore of a movie. There is nothing of value to it whatsoever. It's a film that has no real message to give, except, be nice to your parents. They're the ones that gave you life, and it's Christmas time. It's just like, and that's it. That's all we got for you. And again, it wouldn't be this bad, except the fact that it's a cast that features people that should be in much better movies than this. I mean, you got people in here that are much better than they're supposed to be, and there's nothing about this movie that is worth it. It's not funny, it's not clever, it's lame. Like, even people who love Hallmark Channel and Lifetime Channel movies would look at this and go like, bitch, don't you dare try to insult my intelligence with this. Like, the fact that this movie feels more like an insult to those people that like those type of movies than the people that actually go into this thinking that's actually going to be worth something. And I said before, this is MGM's second attempt to make a Christmas movie in the last couple of years that failed miserably. Red One was bad. Red One was a lazy Christmas action comedy that tries to be like The Rise of the Guardians in live action form, except nowhere near as enjoyable because, because these studios are trying to kill animation any way, shape, or form, along with other things. But yeah, Red One didn't work because it just wasn't fun. There was nothing fun about it whatsoever. The CG was terrible. The lame attempts at comedy were bad. Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans can make stuff work, and even they couldn't save that train wreck of an abomination. And sadly, MGM hasn't learned their lesson, because they've done the same thing with this movie here. It's funny because a couple years ago, MGM did actually have another Christmas movie they put on Amazon that surprisingly actually wasn't as bad as people made it out to be, and that was Candy Cane Lane, the one with Eddie Murphy in it. I mean, it wasn't a great movie, but you could tell that there was at least a good idea behind it. There was at least effort being put into it. There was no effort being put into this movie. Everybody has this look on their face like they do not want to be here whatsoever. This feels like a lame insult of people who actually like these movies. Like, they're not. It's not even made for the people. It's not the people that. It's so bad the people that would like these Hallmark Channel, Lifetime movies, Lifetime holiday movies would look at this and go like, don't insult my intelligence like this. And I'm sorry, I can't get over the fact that there's a person in this movie called Zazie Timms, and you expect people to believe that whatsoever. And like, the show that she's even doing is just a lame knockoff of the Ellen DeGeneres show, and also Drew Barrymore, Kelly Clarkson, pretty much any daytime talk show host nowadays on TV. But I think they're going straight more for Ellen DeGeneres because, well, people liked Ellen DeGeneres before everyone realized that she's kind of a bitch off screen when working on her show and all that. Which, if that was supposed to be what they were trying to do with this, then they failed miserably at that big time. And like I said, the lesson behind this movie makes no sense whatsoever. Just like, why do all these people what's the whole purpose of this? Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer feels unappreciated during the holiday season. Okay, so what? I mean, you could, this really should not be as complicated as you're making it out to be. And even the message at the end of the thing makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, this movie is on the same level as something like Deck the Halls. Why did Deck the Halls exist? What was the main purpose of the storyline? What was that supposed to be about? The whole purpose of that movie was so that Danny DeVito's house can be seen from space with all these Christmas lights, which makes no sense because every other house in that street can be seen from space except Danny DeVito's house. Why? We don't know. That's literally what it feels like when I watch this movie. They did not have a single aorta of what they were trying to do with this movie. They had no reason to make it except the fact that, hey, MGM's putting up the money for it. Hey, we got Robert De Niro's production company, Tribeca, behind it. And we got all these stars in here, so let's give them something to do here. Nobody in this movie really looks like they really want to be here whatsoever. The comedy is lazy. The message makes absolutely no sense. There could be a good idea in this movie about, people who work their butts off at Christmas time, and maybe you should give them more attention and respect them for what they do, but this film sadly does not do any of that whatsoever. This is a movie that is just so lazily put together, and is really hurting it is the lack of a message, this talented cast that deserves a whole lot better, and the fact that you're sitting here for 2 hours watching this garbage. And Amazon MGM has had pretty much a bad year when it comes to some comedies they put out. I mean, You're Cordially Invited is another one of those movies that will probably end up on my worst of the year list. And even Play Dirty, which is the Shane Black movie that is directed by directed by him and stars Mark Wahlberg and Lakeith Stanfield. That should have been great, but even that was pretty lazy overall. Just like, it's good to see MGM getting more movies out there, but the problem is they're not really putting out the good movies that people actually believe in. They're just putting out movies that it feels like MGM has gone down the CBS Films route, or the what's another company that took a lot of bad scripts? Open Road or Overture. They take these bad scripts that that the studios passed on, and basically just said, we'll make these movies. I mean, why not? We've got Jeff Bezos as the man who's running our company right now. We have all the money to do whatever we want. We're about to destroy James Bond. Okay, maybe they're not about to destroy James Bond, but we still have to wait to see what happens, what they do with the Bond franchise. But hey, they're heading in the right direction with Denny Villeneuve directing it, so there is that. But I digress. Overall, like I said, Oh What Fun really should just be called Oh Fuck Off, because it's the definition of a movie that thinks it's going to be this holiday classic in the future, and it really is not. And the only reason it's going to be seen that way is because, NBC and AMC are going to be lining up to have this movie play every Christmas, because that's what they're doing right now with Red One, which is actually going to premiere on TV 1 year after it came out on NBC this week. And it's just kind of like, I mean, it's like, why don't you just make a good movie? Why don't you just make a film that actually does entertain, like gives us a good holiday, a lesson about the holiday season, how you should treat people, and like we've had good holiday movies in the last 15 years that are so underappreciated and don't really get the respect they deserve, like Arthur Christmas, The Best Man Holiday, Klaus, films I just touched on in my Christmas in July segment. The best Christmas movie that we've honestly had in this decade so far are films that have taken from other source materials and actually have good lessons behind them and all that, like 8-Bit Christmas, which is basically a mix between A Christmas Story and Jingle All the Way. And even then you had A Christmas Story Christmas, which was a surprisingly really good sequel to A Christmas Story, taking place many years after the first movie, where Ralphie comes home and essentially helps his mother, after the old man died, keep her in the holiday spirit and all that. And yeah, those are really good Christmas movies that did have good heartfelt moments to them. There's nothing heartfelt about this movie. This movie is literally the definition of a movie that is packaged by a major studio and a script written by AI. They take a lost script taken from Lifetime or Hallmark. Let's grab these big stars that we have because we're Amazon, we're a multi-billion-dollar tech company, and we can give these people whatever they want, and just produce a movie that we know is the garbage. But hey, we're gonna roll in the dough when this gets playtime in the next couple of years on AMC and NBC and Freeform, FX, whatever network is gonna pick this up for their annual holiday package, because this is the type of film that's gonna go on one of those things. And yet, surprisingly, it probably won't be Hallmark or Lifetime, because even they would probably look at this and go like, man, don't insult our intelligence with this garbage right here. We know our audience, and our audience doesn't even want to see this garbage. I think you get the point here. Oh What Fun definitely is not fun at all. And yeah, I stick by what I say, but it shouldn't have been called Oh What Fun. It should be Oh Fuck Off. So yeah, needless to say, one of the worst movies of the year, easily worthy of that list. This will definitely be on there. Thumbs down on this. And like I said, this may not be Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but you know what? At least with Five Nights at Freddy's 2, with its bad reviews, it seems like it's winning the fan base over, so I guess I can't really argue with that. But I mean, I'm not even a big Five Nights at Freddy's fan, but I would honestly say that one, even with the even with the bad reviews, is probably more fun than this pile of garbage here, because this definitely is a steaming pile of garbage of a movie. One of the worst movies I've ever seen this year. One of the worst movies of the decade. One of the worst Christmas movies of all time. This makes Deck the Halls look better by comparison. And when I have to compare a bad Christmas movie to Deck the Halls and say that one is better, then you failed miserably, man. You failed miserably. You failed these actors that you got in here. You failed this director. And you failed your company with another bad Christmas movie. Like, it's just... You get the point. It's not fun at all. It's a bad movie. It sucks. I hate it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Oh What Fun. And like I said, it should be just called Oh Fuck Off. So there you go. That's my thoughts on Oh What Fun. And like I said, I'll get to Five Nights at Freddy's 2 at some point. If not on this show, then in a review on the website and all. But next week, it's the weekend before the big Christmas rush with Avatar and SpongeBob, so we have our last 20th anniversary special of the year, as we're coming down to the end of my celebration of 20 years of me covering the biggest new releases each weekend. And for the last of our 20th anniversary specials, we're going to wrap the year up with the best movie-going experiences I've had in the last 20 years. Memorable movie moments, me watching in the theater and having those moments that is just like, I can't believe I remember these great moments that I'm going to talk about here. I mean, you think back to like great moments in movie history, like the Avengers, a lot of Marvel movies in particular. Happy Feet 2 has one of my favorite song sequences from a movie that really isn't all that great. I'm going to talk about some of those moments in particular, and some other ones as well. The best movie-going experiences of the last 20 years of my movie-going experiences. I will talk about that next time on the show. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe button, notification button. Check out my last reviews I did for Wicked for Good and Zootopia 2. And also hit our playlist below. And with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. And I will see you guys next time. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Take care.